Welcome to Building Web3. Today we're going to be diving into a $100 billion diamond market and uncovering how Tiamonds is revolutionizing the industry with blockchain technology. Join us as we explore the intersection of luxury and innovation. We're talking tokenized diamonds, blockchain transparency, and the future of real-world assets. Remember, nothing stated is financial advice. Welcome to the Building Web3 podcast. Today with my good friend, Steven here. He is the head of Tiamonds, a very exciting company. Steven, before we get too deep into Tiamonds and what they do, can you give us a brief introduction to your background and what were you doing before you entered Web3?
Okay, so great to be here. Thanks, Jax, for inviting me. Super excited about this podcast. First. So as you can hear already, I was born in Belgium. I have that French accent that I cannot hide, unfortunately. I was born in Antwerp. Antwerp used to be the capital for diamonds. Like the last 400 years has been the capital of diamonds, where a lot of trade of rough and polished diamonds occurred. And basically this is where I was born. Easy life growing up, and then studied multimedia, went into the video production in the first part of my career, and then I filmed a lot of jewelry, diamonds, and stuff like this, until one day I had the opportunity to go and live in Hong Kong and open an office for a diamond manufacturing company in Hong Kong. And this is how I came in contact with diamonds, besides the fact that I was born in the capital of diamonds.
You're born in the capital of diamonds, then you move to Hong Kong, then you meet the Tiamonds team. Talk a little bit about what attracted you to the Tiamonds team and kind of what the overall mission of the company is.
Absolutely. So first of all, I think that Tiamonds as a project unites two of my passions. One is diamonds, and secondly is blockchain. I came in contact with blockchain and crypto in 2016, early 2017, and I found it an amazing way, first of all, to democratize the access to financial markets to anyone, fast transactions and so on. We'll talk more about that. But I loved also the team. The team founder, Monty Metzger, started the company in early 2022. So it was quite early for real world assets tokenization. And I think the project attracted me a lot, first of all, because that's connection, my personal connection with diamonds and with crypto, but also the fact that it's a robust project, that the legal framework was already all sorted out. And for me, being in space, having passed through a few bull runs already and some catastrophe in the crypto industry, I think people, in order to come to crypto, need trust. They need robust projects. They need serious people behind the projects that can be legit. And I think one of the key factors of Tiamonds is the fact of being fully licensed and being a legit project.
Let's talk about the licensing process. So what is the process to get licensed? And before I actually go into that, let's talk about real world assets. So there's the licensing process and then the licensing to be a diamond vendor?
Yeah. So basically Tiamonds is a Web3 diamond marketplace. So we are the largest diamond marketplace out there. We are so basically that's Tiamonds, so the largest Web3 marketplace. And basically in RWA projects, you have in fact nowadays you can see two kind of directions. You have a big part of it, which is like 70 or 80% of the market is about tokenization of financial instruments, stocks, bonds, just name them. And you see a lot of companies doing that. We are in the other 20% or maybe 15%, like more niche market in the RWA space. And it's really tokenizing real physical assets. So diamonds is one of it, is a luxury item out of that RWA space, but you can think about watches, about cars, about jewelry, about wine. There are a lot of companies doing whiskey or wine or luxury beverages. So I think basically that's the differentiation into that market. Now, to get back to your question and what's about licensing, for that, I think Larry Fink said it, the BlackRock CEO, one day everything will be tokenized. I also think that everything one day will be tokenized because this is where we're aiming to, and this is the real world assets space that we're living into. But at the same time, I don't think that everything should be tokenized. I think some assets can be tokenized because there's an added value of seeing them on the blockchain. Others are not that important to be on the blockchain. And I think with diamonds, and we'll dive deeper into that, I think we have a real strong use case here.
Yeah, and before we get too deep into that, let's talk a little bit about tokenized diamonds. Because if my future fiance, if I say, "Hey, baby, I bought you a tokenized diamond," she might be a little upset. Does she actually get the diamond itself, or how does it all work?
So absolutely. So what's important to say is, first of all, you are purchasing. You know, there are a few advantages. I think first advantage is for you is the fact of you don't have to go to the shop. You can be at home, relax in your sofa, browse around on our marketplace. There are beautiful images of the tokenized asset. So the tokenized asset is in fact a representation of that physical asset. And we are, you can think about it like a digital twin, or we are really having a twin, a digital twin on the blockchain. We are representing it by a beautiful picture, sometimes an animation, depending on what kind of diamond it is. And then we can also have a branded asset. I'll talk about it later. And by the way, there's a little surprise for your community. That's for the end of the podcast. But basically, we can brand the tokenized or the twin version of that asset. And so that's one thing. So that's an advantage. You can browse the marketplace easily. Now, the advantage for your future spouse or girlfriend or whoever it be is the fact that she can choose with you. First of all. Secondly, when she receives the asset, she does not have to hide it somewhere and be afraid that someone will steal it. So first of all, it's safe, it's secured, it's on the blockchain. But the day she wants to have it as a ring or on her finger or as a necklace or whatever she want to do with a diamond, she's always able to claim the physical asset. So it's a simple KYC process that you have to pass through the platform. You click on the buttons, and we are shipping you the asset at home.
Ah, very exciting. Okay, so very similar to kind of the real estate, because people, if they're not as familiar with real world assets, you can think of the easiest introduction to real world assets would be like a stable coin. Boom, 1-to-1 transfer of $1, 1-to-1 transfer of €1, or whichever the currency of choice is. So let's talk a little bit about what inspired you guys to start Tiamonds, and like what kind of gap in the market does this aim to fill?
Absolutely. So just to give you an overview of the diamond market in general, so the polished part of the diamond market is like $100 billion yearly market. Basically, a big part of that, and this is what we talked about just in the previous question, is for jewelry. Let's say 60, 65, 70% goes for jewelry. So we see it in different places in the world. A big market is the US, a huge market is India and China as well. So it goes, let's say, worldwide. 20% of that production goes to industrial diamonds. And basically, industrial diamonds, why do we use diamonds? Because diamonds is a very strong material. It is used for machinery, for cutting different materials. And that's the let's say the second part of that of those 100 billions. The remaining part is diamond for investment, and basically we are talking about a 2 to 5% of that 100 billion market, and basically it's very small. First of all, I think there is space to grow. That's one. And secondly, I think with the added value of the blockchain, I think there's a lot of things that we can add to the diamonds market. You asked why do we see maybe an opportunity here is if you know a bit about diamond, and I used to work for more than 10 years in the diamond industry, it's a very oldish industry. It's a very, people are still handshaking to make a deal. for example. And then you call it Mazal. Mazal is wishing you luck and wishing you good health and wealth with the diamond that you purchased. And there's no contract. And I think what we can bring here, first of all, is secure contracts, secure ways of getting your money through the blockchain, a more fast-paced market as well. And I think a lot of other things that we'll cover later, but basically to add utility also to the diamond markets. Maybe one small thing that I can add here, just think about someone who is a diamond manufacturer. He created that polished diamond, and basically he's going to sell the stone to you, let's say. And then a few years later, you want to sell that stone to me. Unfortunately, because there's no blockchain in the physical or the traditional diamond market, they cannot trace what's happening with the stone. Basically, on the blockchain, we can trace that, and we can give royalties back to the first issuer. So that's already a first advantage that we can give to issuers of tokenized diamonds.
Yeah, I'd also think it's the transparency of where the diamonds come from, who's owned them before, and I'm sure it's a very popular thing. Yeah, it's very interesting to see these older industries that are then being thrust into Web3. Can you talk about some of the challenges you guys have faced in essentially being in a very old industry and trying to introduce this very new technology to it?
No, absolutely. So I think for the diamond dealers itself, it is a bit strange because they don't understand. I must tell you, when I was working in the diamond industry, the most advanced computer program I was using was Excel, and I was already like a genius or a master in computer science. And just to put everything in proportion, and I think, like as you said, I think the fact of adding blockchain transparency on pricing, that's something that's super important, because nowadays you can go to a jewelry shop in your street, they will give you a certain price. You will go to the neighbor, he will give you another price, and there will be no real reason why he's asking more and why there's such a difference in there's a price gap of such a big amount. And I think what we are bringing here is the blockchain that you can trace every transaction. You will know how much I purchased the stone, how much you are purchasing it, etc., etc. But also another factor is the traceability, like you said. And I think the fact of knowing that your stone comes from non-conflictual zones, that comes from no war zone, and is you can call it responsible buying. You can be a responsible buyer. And I think that's something that Gen Z, but not only, maybe my generation as well, is looking at. And we want to make sure that there's no child labor. We want to make sure that it's not financing wars and so on. So I think the added value of transparency is something that even the diamond dealers are really looking into it as of now.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about, I kind of like to call this the life of a transaction. So let's say somebody is manufacturing a diamond. They come to you and they say, hey, we have this diamond. We'd like to put it on the blockchain. Essentially, how does it work from creator to purchaser?
Okay, so good question. I think we have two use cases. That's one option. So we have people who don't know how to bring their assets to the blockchain. And I think why they're thinking about that, they are looking at a new way or new channel of a new sales channel. Technically, we can easily, with our platform, we can attain the Gen Z, we can attain crypto enthusiasts and so on that wants to invest into diamonds, but has no fiat money, for example. So that's a new way of opening up your market. So basically, yes, we can do it for other companies. Of course, we do a due diligence. They need to send us the stone. We need to ensure, and then if I can explain exactly how it works, but we need to authenticate the stones, validate that the stones are real, etc., etc. And this is how we work hand in hand with LCX, the physical validator. But it will come maybe in the next question. But just to go back to your initial question is, so we can tokenize assets for others, and we have the ability and the licensing. So we have the technology and we have the legal framework to do it. Other people will tell you, yeah, we can do it. I don't know more than one or two other projects who have the license and the power, the legal power to do it. So I'm very proud to say that Tiamonds can do it with no problem. So that's one thing. And on our marketplace, we are tokenizing ourselves, diamonds. We are, like I said, we can launch. For example, we launched a Valentine collection. So it was Valentine's Day, and we said, okay, it's nice to you have heart shapes diamonds. Let's launch a collection about heart shapes. That's one example. We did something else with the coffee brand, and so we launched a diamond collection with a branded coffee version, and something that our users were attracted to. So we are following the trends. We are following the what people are looking for, and with the knowledge that we have of the diamond industry, we are trying to bring that in our own marketplace.
Got it. And you mentioned LCX. Can we talk about the partnership with them and kind of what is the role there that they play?
Absolutely. So LCX stands for the Liechtenstein Cryptocurrency Exchange. It's a Liechtenstein-based company, as you can hear it. And basically, it's a fully licensed company. They have 9 different licenses to operate as a crypto exchange. And one of that license is the physical validator license. And basically, the physical validator is like a notary. You can compare it in our real lives like a notary who will validate, authenticate things. And LCX does the same with our diamonds. So basically, Tiamonds is purchasing from renowned diamond dealers. Like I said, they're natural diamonds. We are sending those stones to Liechtenstein, to LCX, where every stone will be authenticated, make sure that it is the same stone according to the GIA or the GIA certificate, which is the passport of the stone, make sure that that stone is real, is there. And then once this is done, they will give us this certificate. With every stone that you can see on our platform, you have the LCX certificate, which stands as it's a very strong thing because they operate under the FMA of Liechtenstein. So they are entitled to give that stamp. Not a lot of companies can do that. So they basically, once this is done, we can send the asset to a third party, where a third party vault, where the assets will be locked, and where once it's locked, we can tokenize the asset and put it on the blockchain.
Got it. And then there's the TIA token. You guys have a token in your ecosystem. What is the function of the token, and how does it essentially work?
Absolutely. So the TIA token is a utility token. If I may explain it like this, it was a fair launch, so there was no ICO when we launched it. And basically, there's a few different functions. So first of all, it's a token that when you are holding the assets, and that's an advantage. For example, when you said you want to purchase something for your wife or your future wife, or while she will be holding the tokenized asset, she will be earning as well TIA tokens. So for every minute that passes, she will get 1 TIA token sent to her wallet. And so basically, she receives the diamonds, but at the same time, she receives an extra bonus. We can call it like a reward that you have like miles when you are taking a flight and you have this loyalty program. The more you fly with them, the more points you will get. And basically, we have the same functionality. It means the more TIA tokens you'll get, you will be able to use those TIA tokens to purchase your next stone, your next diamond. And basically, that's the functionality. There's another interesting functionality because that's the own to earn model that I explained. So you are owning a diamond and you are earning TIA tokens. So the TIA token has for every on-chain transaction, there's a 10% fee that will be reflect, rebalance, and burn. And basically 10% of that goes, 2.5% will be burnt, 5% will be a reflection, and it's redistributed to the existing holders, and 2.5% will be rebalanced and basically swapped into LCX tokens. So basically, this is how we give back to the community.
Very, very interesting. And let's talk a little bit about real world assets, the marketplace. Are you guys the only ones really doing diamonds? Were you kind of the first entrant to the market? Do you see other people kind of following your footsteps?
So we absolutely were the first one. We are the biggest ones. We have the most stones on the platform. And by the way, more stones are coming as of this week uh, um, on the platform, and we're trying really continuously to add more stones. I don't know a lot of competitors, fortunately and unfortunately, because I think competition is good and is important. We saw a few projects, but like I said, they either don't have the legal framework sorted out, or they're kind of lacking of experience in the diamond industry. They know about blockchain, but they don't understand the diamond industry. And like I said, uh, the diamond industry is very specific. It works via several rules, and you need to understand that in order to be able to perform.
Absolutely. And do you think this is, a tricky factor with many of industries we think like real estate, other kinds of maybe even like a truffle market, things that are a little bit more of like the old school? Do you find it's very difficult to get people like onboarded to this? We kind of talked about this before, where it's like handshake deals, and now you're like, hey, put this on the blockchain, and they're like, what?
No, absolutely. So I think it depends. It depends from user to user, but I think basically it's a big breakthrough because I think again everything is secured, everything is through the blockchain, so everything is traceable. Not only every transaction is traceable, what is super important, and also I think the fact of tokenizing assets, and you talked about real estate, and there are a lot of other examples in the RWA space. I think it's a way of democratizing the access of certain goods or of certain, in our case, of physical assets to the masses. I think first of all, some people don't know where to purchase a diamond. Where they're gonna go? Do they trust the counterparts? Do they know what they're purchasing? So what we are trying to do is really to try to educate people, to try to give as much information as possible, and again to be as much transparent as possible. Just for the small example, what we are trying to do also is to be very attractive in pricing. So again, everything is transparent, so you can see every price of every asset on the platform. Now, if you want to make your due diligence and you're going to compare our pricing with other Web2 marketplaces, e-commerce platforms that are selling diamonds, we are cheaper. And I'm very proud to say that we must be, I think, in the top five, let's say, of the cheapest marketplaces, very attractive. Also because of that TIA token. So with every purchase that you're making, we are adding those TIA token as rewards. And all in all, you're getting like crazy prices for beautiful stones.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like a great opportunity. Can you talk about some of the kind of regulatory hurdles? So we talked about you had to integrate with LCX, then there's likely technical hurdles where you have to build a development team. It seems like a lot to manage. Can you talk a little bit about like kind of the hurdles you guys have had to go through in order to build this platform?
Yeah, so basically what we wanted to do, again, we started with the legal framework. I know projects that doing a reverse, so they're first building up the project and then looking at, is it possible, is it legal, is it legit or not compliant, and so on. We did it first, so I think it was a great advantage to start like this, because once this was settled, we could really put all our efforts into the product, into the development of the platform. I think what's important for us is to continue on that path. So there are several things that we are doing. So first of all, if you want to purchase an asset on the platform, you will have to pass through a KYC. This is a way to make sure that the new owner or the people who are connecting to the platform, it's all about AML, so anti-money laundering, that the funds are legit, and that's super important for us. There is the same thing at the checkout when you want to redeem the asset, physical asset, then you will have to pass through a KYC. Again, some people don't want to do it, but I think nowadays when you open a bank account, when you purchase on a lot of e-commerce platforms, you have to pass through KYC, and it will become more and more like this. So I think we are kind of a trendsetter here, and wanted this to be very important in our way of doing things.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about like, so you guys have built well, actually first, can you say how much value of assets do you guys have on the platform currently? Like what quantity of diamonds and their price?
So I cannot give you like an exact or precise number, but I think we should be around a million and a half of assets, a lot in the vault. We kind of sold nearly everything that we put on the platform. There are still a few diamonds that are available for sales. We will put more in the future, but every time that we launched a new batch or new collection or new partnership, it was a great success. It went quite fast, and the sales went quite fast because it's something new. We'll talk about it soon, I suppose, but about partnerships. We did a partnership with XRP Ledger, with XRP Cafe, and we were the first RWA project on XRP. So imagine it's people were super excited to have the first real world diamonds on XRP. And I'm proud to say again that we were there. We achieved the technological gap with a partnership with XRP.cafe, and and the sales was a success.
Very exciting. So we have the partnership with XRP. We've got a partnership with LCX. Are there any other notable partnerships or collaborations you guys have formed?
Yes. So first to get back to your previous question. So for us also what's important is that the platform was audited. So we were audited by Celtic, a very renowned auditor in the industry. And also what's important is that our books and the vault as well is audited during the year, because we need to make sure and this is what we want as well. We want our users to feel relaxed, to make sure that if they purchase a tokenized asset, the real physical asset is there, is in that vault. And so this we can guarantee. As of today, we have a constant check, let's say, about that. We know exactly how many stones are in the vault. We can prove it. If you want to, like I said, if you redeem the asset, we can always send it to you. So that's not an issue. Now, you talked about collaboration. So the first partnership besides LCX, because this was more on the licensed part, or the licensing part, and the physical validator part, which is inherent and very important for the project. But let's talk more about other blockchains. And one of the strategy last year was to say, okay, we are built on Ethereum, and we want to give the opportunity to other blockchain users. We know how other blockchains are sometimes operating, and a guy on Solana will only want to purchase on Solana. Same for Cardano, same for XRP, etc., etc. So instead of saying that, come to us and switch to Ethereum wallet and we'll provide you diamonds, no, we went to them. And so the first partnership that we did was with NMaker, which is a dApp on Cardano, and we launched also the first tokenized diamonds on Cardano. Again, we did it last year in October for the Cardano Summit in Dubai, and we had also a great success, sold out 3 different batches with them quite fast. By the way, there's still a batch out there, so we still have 2 stones that can be sold on. I can share the links later, but you can go, if you don't want to purchase on Ethereum, you can also go to Cardano. So this was one partnership, that partnership with XRP that I explained, XRP.cafe. And we are looking forward to other blockchains. So we are in discussions with other blockchains, of course. We are looking at the big ones, but also at L2 blockchains in order to come to the users instead of the users coming to us.
Absolutely. Well, if we've got many blockchain, founders and business development people out here, please reach out to Steven at Tiamonds to facilitate that. So let's talk a little bit about how you see Tiamonds contribute to the broader adoption of Web3 technologies and kind of the role that tokenized assets will play.
So basically, the advantage of the RWA space is the fact that we are democratizing the access to either financial assets or physical assets to the masses. So it is very easy nowadays to purchase a diamond it's a click away. You come on the platform, you pass through a KYC, it takes like 10 minutes, and then you are able to purchase whatever you want. Now, I think this is a first step to the masses. I think what happened in 2021, 2022 with the NFT craze and the bubble and how it exploded, it's It's maybe normal. By the way, this is an NFT that I purchased. It's a picture of Rome during Corona. Beautiful picture, but at the end of the day, it costed me a lot, and I only have the print, so I had to print it in black and white in on my printer. So it was backed by nothing at the end of the day. I just had that digital image, and now I have that print that I made myself. Now, the advantage or the game changer with RWA is the fact that you are purchasing a tokenized asset. You have that contract that proves the ownership of a physical asset. So it's backed by a real physical asset that has a certain value. Um, I don't think that diamonds will disappear so fast. So you can always get back to your diamond. You can claim the asset, and you can get that real diamond that has a value, that has a trade value in our physical world, but that has a trade value also on the blockchain nowadays, thanks to diamonds.
Absolutely. And are there any like very exciting use cases or applications of Tiamonds you'd like to highlight?
So basically, I think I explained basically in a high level what we are doing. What we are looking now to do is basically to, like I said, to tokenize more assets, to try to look for other partnerships with blockchains, with brands, because we can brand your collection, whatever collection it might be, or whatever asset can be. But we are also looking at more technological development. And I think one of the interesting development that will also be interesting for democratizing the access to very high-end luxurious assets is the fractionalization of assets. Something that you cannot do. Just think about if this is a diamond and I need to cut it in 10, I can do it, but the value will not be the same anymore. On the blockchain and with tokens, you can easily fractionalize tokens and say that this is a whole, but I'm fractionalizing it in 1,000 pieces, and so you can be easily attracted. You can easily purchase one token, and your friend can purchase another token, and so the whole of people will have a partial investment in a certain high value stone. For example, 10 carat could be fractionalized in a 10 carat DFL, which is a very high end $1 million around stone. We can fractionalize it in 1,000, in 10,000 different tokens, and give the access to anyone to be part of that and be partial owner of exceptional stones.
Absolutely. And are there any new exciting collections on the horizon? We talked about, there's the Valentine's collection. Unfortunately, we probably missed out on that. But anything new coming?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's an alpha, and that's really for your community. We are launching 2 stones as of next week with an added certificate. So we are adding a certificate of origin, where we can prove exactly where that stone originated from, like 3 billions of years ago, from which part of the world it's coming. And we have the whole tracing from mine to vault. And I think it's a great story that we are telling here. And I think people who are purchasing that can really prove that their stone comes either from Canada, Botswana, or whatever. They can see the rough diamonds, how it was cut, and so on. And you see the whole story of the diamonds from the mine to the vault or to your finger, if you want. That's one thing that we're launching soon. And now we'll do also some partnerships with big artists. In the coming weeks, you'll see something very exciting. More on that, maybe.
All right.
If you follow us.
Yeah, keep some good tabs on. So yeah, for example, like where can listeners they go to learn more about Tiamonds? Can you shout out any kind of social media, any kind of like website that they can follow along?
Absolutely. So you can follow us on Tiamonds.com. So it's same as diamonds, but with a T of tokenized. So tokenized diamonds, Tiamonds.com. You can follow us on Twitter. It's at Tiamonds. We have an Instagram page as well. You'll find us. So follow us on social, and we are trying to announce everything that we're doing. We're trying really to educate also about RWA, the RWA space. And this is what we're trying to do, really, to educate the masses.
Well, absolutely. I'll put all the links in the description. Please, everyone, go engage with Steven online. Go follow Tiamonds, and there's going to be some interesting alpha coming out. So
I go back. So we
Yeah.
talked about all the advantages that there is. So traceability of the assets, transparency on pricing. You can have instant payment and receive the assets instantly. You can purchase the assets 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But I think there's also something interesting here. The fact that you can trade in diamonds without the need to have the physical diamonds in your hands, which means I can send you a diamond over and it will not cost me shipment fees. It will not cost me export taxes because you living in the US and I'm living in Europe, and you will need to pay for import taxes. I will need to pay for export taxes, and all those costs add up, of course, with luxury assets. So I think the fact of trading into diamonds without the need to move the physical asset is a real added value that we wanted to add to that industry.
Okay, so let me summarize. So we've got traceability, transparency, we've got instant access, we've got lower security risk because you don't actually hold the diamond yourself. If you have a bunch of diamonds in your house, you're like, oh crap, I hope some robber doesn't come in here. Tax advantage because of you don't need to pay all those import fees, and then there's no need to. I think I missed the last one, but there's like no need to store it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So, well, Steven, continue.
No, so last thing before I forget also, so we wanted to thank you and to thank your community, of course, for having us. And so I wanted to share that we're gonna offer you to you, Jax, one diamond. And basically, but we need your help on that. So we have the diamond. I'll share with you later or tomorrow what it is exactly. But we want to create a branded Jax diamond. So you will tell us what's your brand identity or what do you want to have as a diamond for your community. It will be yours. And by the way, if the community wants to engage and to have those kind of diamonds as well, we are ready to shape a collection for community. And this we can discuss further. But this is what we wanted to give you as a thanks for having us on the podcast.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. I'm very honored, all community. I'm sure we'll be very excited to see what kind of diamond I can come up with in my head. I'm not the most diamond savvy, but I'll try my best, community.
Amazing.
All right, Steven. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone stay glued to the social media of Tiamonds and stay tuned as for the drop of the Jax diamond. Could be very cool. All right. Thank you so much and get back to building, everyone.